What if I told you that there is a date in June that a lot of gardeners miss? If you want food on your plate from October through to next May, then you need to be sowing your seeds now. In today's video, I shall be telling you the seeds that we shall be sowing to ensure that we have fresh vegetables on our plate from October through until next May. June is a funny old month. The beds are all full. You're harvesting things. Doesn't seem quite right that you need to be sowing more. But June the 21st will be the summer solstice. And of course, from that point onwards, the days will only get shorter. And if you want to be still harvesting fresh vegetables between October and the following May, you need to sow them now, this month, so that they have time to grow and get to a good size. By the time we get to October, the daylight length will be much drastically reduced. Your plants will feel it. They stop growing with such vigour. You need them at a stage where, when we do get to October, that minimal amount of growth that they're putting on is enough to bring them to their final harvest. When people ask me, what's the busiest month for sowing? What's the most important month? Well, actually, they're all important because things need sowing at different times to either make sure you've got enough space on your bench so that as you get other things into the cold frame to harden off, you get the next lot that you've sown that will go onto the bench. Once they've hardened off, they go out into the ground. That frees up the cold frame to bring the next lot of seedlings into there. But June really is quite a pivotal month because of the summer solstice. So in that respect, I do regard it as one of the most important sowing months of the year. We start with purple sprouting broccoli. Now, if you've been following us for a while, you'll know that this is one of the most valuable crops that you can grow in your veg patch. We grow three types. We grow Rudolph, and we grow early purple, and we grow claret. By growing those three varieties, we have purple sprouting broccoli available to us from late December all the way until mid-May. It was only a week or 10 days ago that finished giving us its harvest, and we took it out of the ground and freed the bed up to put the next crops in. This crop is valuable in so many ways, especially the claret, because that harvest between mid-April and mid-May, and that's when we're right into the hungry gap. There's not too much in your plots. The things that you sowed earlier in the year, they won't be ready until June, July. So this ensures that you have a fresh vegetable to put on your plate. The other thing with purple sprouting broccoli is that it is a high value crop. We grow 6 plants of purple sprouting broccoli, and each one of those plants is worth around £30 to us in harvests if you wanted to replicate the prices that you'd pay at the supermarkets. So you can do the maths yourselves. That's £180. That £180 will be enough money to keep my no-dig Norfolk garden producing for the following 12 months. If I need to buy compost in, I have that money available. If I need to buy seeds in, I have that money available. So that one crop has paid for the things that I need to do to keep it productive. And everything else that I grow for the rest of the year, well, it's just saving me lots of money. Winter cabbages. It's a good time to have cabbages in your garden during the winter, because once they're there and they've hearted up, they stand in the ground for weeks on end, just ready there waiting for you to pick them as and when you require one. I like to grow 3 different varieties. and that ensures that the harvest windows are met. First one is Tundra. We eat this between November and March. Wintessa. I love this variety. We had some gorgeous Wintessa cabbages, didn't we, Mrs.
Oh, we did.
W?
Yeah, they've been really lovely earlier this year.
They will give you their harvest between February and April. So I like to do these in late June because I want these to harvest nearer April than I do February. The other variety that I like to sow is Varieties. Varieties is a well-known and well-established cabbage that will just stand there and stand there. Its harvest window is somewhere between December and May the following year. So again, I push that sowing right to the very end of June so that I get those cabbages available to me during the month of May. And then we always have cabbages all the way through that period of time. Next, we turn our attention to the cauliflowers. Who could forget that absolutely gigantic cauliflower that I only harvested last weekend? This is it. It's an F1 variety called Oreo. And by sowing it in June, you can have the same harvest that we had all the way through May. I think they began late April, didn't they?
Yes, they did.
But there were 6 of them in the ground, so they took us all the way through to May.
I think having this harvest of the Oreo cauliflower at this time of year, we've tried a few different things, and the roasted cauliflower that we've tried, which we haven't actually probably done before properly, have we? No, to roast that was absolutely delicious.
It was
totally different flavour to if you just boil it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I loved it.
Absolutely, we really enjoyed that.
More cauliflower, please.
The other cauliflower that I like to sow is an old variety called Aylesmere, and with a June sowing you're going to get this during the month of April. We usually get ours at the beginning of April. So you can see the theme that builds here with the brassicas. Just by using, you don't have to have lots of different varieties, but just by using 2 or 3 different varieties of each of the cauliflower and the cabbage, that enables you to have a harvest over a long period of time. Swede. This is the time that I generally sow my swede, but over the last couple of seasons what I have realised is that using a May sowing, which we've done again this year, will mean that we have some swedes just a bit earlier in the autumn. These ones from the June sowing, they'll be ready for us during November and December. Because the thing is with swede, if they're left in the ground too long, once they get to a harvestable size, they can become quite woody. And I, more than anyone, have to guard against this, because if I take a woody swede into Mrs. W's kitchen, she will just throw it at me.
Just good that I don't have very good aim, isn't it?
We just don't film in the early part of November. The next crop is carrots. Carrots for autumn and winter. We favour a variety called Eskimo, but we also, alongside that, grow varieties like Sweet Candle and Marion. They seem to suit the autumn and winter period. Now, carrots are best sown after the solstice, so around about the 21st. Any time after the 21st of June is a good time to sow them, and then they'll have lots of time to be able to get nice and large, just as you want them for your autumn and winter casseroles. But what I do from the 21st of June, I like to sow a row every week for the next 4 weeks, just so that they're all not huge carrots in September or the beginning of October. That section of vegetables I like to call my winter warriors, because they withstand everything that the winters throw at us here in Norfolk. I know there'll be good strong plants that give us fantastic harvests. But what we mustn't forget is that we still need harvests between now and October. So we need to ensure that we're succession sowing things like our spring onions. Our spring onions that we use is a variety called Ishikura. that's the one we like to sow for summer. Also, lettuce. If you keep sowing lettuce once every month, just a few plants, then every time you use one, you've got more available to you. We tend to grow the varieties of Iceberg, Little Gem and Saxo. Mrs. W's really taken a shine to the Saxo variety. It is actually a beautiful red lettuce. And as always, we always like to have a bowl of cut and come lettuce available for us. Marathon. Now, Marathon is a Calabrese, and it doesn't really do well outside in the winter. A sowing in June, that's going to give you harvests of this in October. And there will be one more sowing of this. Many of you ask me when I sow it. Next month, and that will give us harvests in November. Yes, we actually do get harvests of these in November. But the great thing about these at that time of the year, the October harvest and the November harvest, I leave those in the ground and they will continue sending up little spears that, you know, every few days you go out there and pick, and you've got something the size of a broccoli head, and they'll do that for a good 6 weeks after you have harvested the main head. Chard. I find that a June sowing of chard, and usually towards the very end of June, is how we successfully overwinter chard, so that we can enjoy those leaves for most of the year. By sowing it in late June and then using it all through the autumn and winter, you're getting the maximum harvest from it. Then there's the Mizuna and the rockets. Now they can be a bit troublesome at this time of the year in that they can rise to flower because of the heat that we tend to get between June and September. But with a regular sowing of these every month, June, July, August, you can have some lovely Mizuna and rocket available to you to eat. Lovely mixed with the other salad leaves. Then there's radish. These are a really quick crop. Some people advise don't sow them during the summer because they get too hot. The heat makes them hotter. I don't actually mind that. But actually you can harvest them when they're relatively young, and then they won't quite have the pinch that some people say they have. But we actually really quite like these, either roasted or eaten raw in a salad. One of the things that you will find as we go past June, certainly into July, is that you'll be harvesting your crops and you'll have bare patches. One of the most valuable things you can do is to sow some dwarf French beans. They don't take up a lot of space, so even if you've still got crops waiting there, but on the end you've got a bit of space, get some of these sown and pop those plants in there, and within sort of 8-10 weeks you'll be harvesting lovely dwarf French beans. They store well, they can be frozen, and they really do work, and of course you can eat them as and when you want to pick them. They give a really great harvest and start to fill in some of those gaps that you start to see. What are your sowing plans for June? Leave us a comment and let us know. And also, how's your garden been faring in this remarkably hot weather we've had during the last week in May? I'm glad to report that our no-dig Norfolk garden has stood up well to it. We've had to do a little bit of extra watering, especially in the undercover spaces. But outside, generally, everything has done really well. A couple of 3 days ago, we popped in our runner beans, borlotti beans, and climbing cobra French beans. And it won't be too long now that when I'm sitting here or standing under the arch, I'll once again have some shade while I'm talking to you.
We could have done with that these last few days. You said everything in the garden was standing up well, but Mrs. W was not standing up well in that heat. Oh no, I don't like that. Thank goodness there's a breeze today.
Has been remarkably hot though, hasn't it? It really has. But yeah, do let us know in the comments how things are going on your veg patches. We do love to get your comments. If you got something from this video, then do give us a like and share this video with any vegetable garden groups that you belong to. It helps myself and Mrs. W find a wider reach to spread our message that everybody, no matter the size of your garden, you are able to grow vegetables. Now, it's one thing to do all of this sowing. How do we use it, and what are the fundamentals of succession sowing? Well, last month we put a video out there about the 3 pillars to succession sow. So why not watch that video next?